Well, hello, and welcome to today's episode of the Online Gathering Place. My name is Leah Petrucci. I'm your host this evening, and the Online Gathering Place is a live stream where we do guided self-care activities. And there's several places you can tune in to the Online Gathering Place, which is every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. And you can tune in on YouTube, which is the Holistic Healing Network, and you can tune in on Facebook or Instagram. So let me just quickly make sure that I have gone live on all the places. All righty. And welcome if you're joining live. I would love to know where you're watching from. I would love to know in the chat where you're tuning in from. And if you're watching the replay, welcome. So tonight's topic is tapping. We're continuing the series of tapping and what we can use tapping to help us with. Last week's episode, we used tapping for healthy eating habits, or was that the week before? And last week was using tapping for health and wellness. And tonight's episode is we're going to be using tapping to support healthy relationships. And I'm going to do a couple of demonstrations on how to do that. We're going to go through a couple of scripts and we're going to do some tapping together. So for those of you who aren't, really good at self-care and you need some guided practice, that is exactly what the Online Gathering Place live streams are for, is to hit play and to get some guided help on just taking care of yourself, getting some good health and wellness, getting some good self-care practice. And this is continuing the tapping series. So just a couple of things before we get started. Just FYI, I am dog sitting this evening. And so if you hear some dog barking in the background, hopefully she will calm down pretty quickly. I took her on a nice little walk beforehand. So hopefully we won't be disturbed too much there. And let's see, a couple of other things. Yes. So what we're going to be doing tonight is called Emotional Freedom Technique, or tapping. For those of you who have tuned in on previous live streams, you may already know what tapping is. But for those of you who've never heard of tapping, I'm just going to give a brief overview of what tapping is. You can always go and watch one of my more detailed videos about tapping and what tapping is on my YouTube channel, which is called the Holistic Healing Network. And I will go into a little bit more detail about all of that at the end of the live stream and where you can find all of the replays. But let's just get started. So Emotional Freedom Technique, or A.K.A Tapping, is a technique that was developed in the 80s, where they combined the work of modern psychology, or cognitive behavioral therapy, which is a modality of therapy that therapists like myself use in our practices, where we help people to process their thoughts and emotions. We help people to get in touch with what are they thinking and what are those thoughts. How are those thoughts leading to certain feelings? And then how are those feelings leading to certain actions or inactions? Maybe they're leading to unhealthy habits. Maybe they're leading to unhealthy relationships. Maybe they're leading to poor self-care. So we're going to take that and we're going to combine that cognitive behavioral therapy with some acupressure, with some traditional Chinese medicine techniques. So some really gentle tapping pressure on different acupuncture points. So we're basically combining the mind and the body. We're doing a mind-body technique. And that's exactly what tapping is in a nutshell. And so I'm going to go over the 9 different acupressure points that we're going to be tapping on. First, we'll do that. And then we're going to combine that with the thought and emotion processing. And since tonight's live stream is all about how to use tapping to support relationships, I'm going to give you 2 examples of how you can do that. All right, so let's get into the 9 different tapping points. So the first tapping point is called the karate chop point, which is the side of the hand. So the flesh on just the side of the hand here, we call it the karate chop point because it looks like you're doing a karate chop. So take your fingers from your other hand and just give some nice gentle tapping pressure on the side of that hand. You can also choose to just rub if you would rather, or you can just touch and hold the point. If you don't have enough energy to actually tap, and that can happen when you're just really fatigued, you can just hold that point with the other hand. Just giving that area some stimulation is really all you need to do. How many times that you tap really doesn't matter. You're just going to follow along with me. And if you're doing it on your own, you just advance to the next point whenever you feel the need to do so. All right, so the next point is the eyebrow point. So right where the eyebrow meets the top of the nose there. So just right where the eyebrow ends is that eyebrow point. And again, it doesn't matter how many fingers you use. Just want to give it some gentle tapping. And you can also choose to just rub the point if you would rather, or you can just touch and hold the point. As long as you're just giving that area some kind of stimulation. All right, that's the eyebrow point number 2. Point number 3 is side of the eye there, the temple. If you would like, you can do both sides. If you would rather feel more even doing both sides there, but it's not necessary. You can do one side or the other. All right, good. And the next point is underneath the eyes. So kind of the top of the cheekbone there. Yep, just some gentle tapping. And a couple of things you may notice as you're doing these tapping. You may notice that you're salivating more, or you're swallowing, or you're taking you're having like a spontaneous breath or a sigh, or maybe you might yawn. Those are all signs that your nervous system is kicking in and actually downshifting. So you're calming down. The nervous system is calming down, and that's what we want. So all of those signs are good. You might also notice that your muscles are relaxing. Maybe your shoulders are kind of coming down a little bit. You might actually notice you have more range of motion. All of those things are positive indications that the nervous system is kicking in. Okay, next point is underneath the nose. So you can do it like, along long ways, or you can do it sideways. You can do it with one finger, with, multiple fingers, whatever feels good to you. All right, and then the next point is the chin, kind of that crease there. So again, you could do it this way, or you can go to the side, or you can rub, or you can just touch and hold the point. All right, next point is the collarbone. So where the collarbones meet in the middle, you're going to go down and out about an inch. And it doesn't have to be exact because we're not doing acupuncture with needles. That has to be pretty precise. But acupressure, as long as you're getting that general area. Okay. All right. This is my favorite point. It's just accessible, really easy to do. If you wanted to do it discreetly, you could just take one hand and just put it over the collarbone. You could just touch and hold, or you could just rub. That's a discreet way. So, and sometimes you might even do that without knowing that that's exactly what you're doing, is you are calming the nervous system. You might go, you might just put a hand there. And when I did that, you can put 2 hands there if you'd like. When I did that, I immediately swallowed. So my nervous system is really in tune to stimulating that point right there. All right, next point is the side of the ribs. So ladies, like where your bra strap is, a couple inches down from the armpit. You can tap, tap, tap the side like that. Or if you want, you can cross over and just take a flat hand and give it a little tap. Nice little self hug too right here. All right, and then the last point is the top of the head. So you can use a flat hand here, or you can use fingers. Make it work for you. This is not a rigid practice. This is a very flexible, make it work for you practice. Okay, so those are the 9 points. And if you ever need to do this and you don't have a script and you just do the tapping, that's okay. That works too. You could do just 1 or 2 points. You're like, oh, I don't remember which point comes next. That's all right. Just do the one that you remember. You can just stick to that 1 point, collarbone. This is my go-to point. Whenever I feel my nervous system starting to get activated, I just immediately start, tapping my collarbone point. When I'm in traffic, waiting in line, I think I'm going to be late somewhere, I'm frustrated about something, anxious about something, I can just either kind of put a hand there if I want to be more discreet, or, tap or rub or just hold. So those are the 9 points. So that's the body piece. So now we're going to take the cognitive or the thought processing piece, and we're going to combine it with the tapping. And no need to worry about what to say. I am going to lead you through exactly what to say using a script. And all you have to do is tap along with me and repeat after me. If you're able to repeat after me, please do so. If you're in a place where you can't say anything out loud, that's fine. You can just listen, or you can say it in your mind. All right, so the first tapping script that we're going to do is something called surrogate tapping. So think of a situation where you're in some kind of relationship. It doesn't matter what kind of relationship. It could be a family member, it could be a friend, it could be a coworker, it could be a romantic partner, it could be a child, whomever. And this person is doing things that are maybe unhealthy for them. Maybe they're not taking good care of themselves. Maybe they have some unhealthy habits. Maybe they're making poor decisions, and it's really hard to watch them do this, to watch them go through this. Maybe they're in pain. Maybe they're having a health issue, and it's really hard to watch them go through this. And you may feel powerless, helpless to do anything to help them. And what do you do with those emotions? Like, we can't control what other people do, right? We can only control us and what we do. But we still have those emotions, and they still need to be processed. We can't stuff them. We may try to stuff our feelings. We may try to stuff our feelings with food, with social media, with chemicals, with relationships, with all kinds of things. But emotions were meant to be felt. They were meant to be processed. And then they most likely will go away if we give them that attention. And that's the biggest misconception, is that, oh no, I can't allow myself to feel that emotion, because then it will be like a floodgate and I'll never be able to get control of it. That's actually not the truth. If we give our body and our mind what it needs, then it most likely will go away, and we won't need to keep experiencing it over and over. Now, we may need to go back to this tapping exercise more than once, and that's okay. It may not go away with one tap. We may need to do it a few times, but that's okay. The point of this exercise is to allow the thoughts and emotions to be processed and then to be released. And it will be here. This video will be here for you whenever you need to return and come back to do this exercise. All right, so what I want you to do as we go into this surrogate tapping exercise is to think of a person that matches what I mentioned before. So think of a person that you care about, that is going through, is either, going through a health issue, or is practicing an unhealthy habit, or just they're doing something that is difficult for you to watch, and it's bringing up some emotion, and you feel powerless to do anything about it. So we're going to tap on that right now. All right. So let's start by, first of all, let's start by rubbing our hands together and taking a deep breath in and out. And I want you to rate your level of discomfort when you think about what this person is going through, from a scale of 0, which is no discomfort at all, to 10, which is the worst anxiety discomfort you can imagine, having to watch this person go through whatever it is, this experience that's painful or difficult. And get a number in your mind, and then we will re-rate that after we tap. Okay, so let's start by tapping on the side of the hand. And again, make it your own. If you want to rub or just touch the point, that's fine too. Repeat after me if you can. If not, just listen or think it in your mind. Even though I am worried about this person, I honor how I feel, and I give my body permission to relax. Even though it is so hard to see them struggling, I honor my desire to help, and I give myself permission to relax. If you need to switch hands, you can do that. Even though I feel this tension in my body, I accept how I feel, and I relax more and more with every tap. All right, let's go to the eyebrow point now. I am really worried about this person. I know that they deserve better. I know that they can do better. And I want to take away their pain. I want to fix their situation. Okay, let's switch to the side of the eye now. But I feel so stuck. I acknowledge all of my mixed emotions. It is so hard to see them struggling. Okay, let's do, sorry, the top of the cheek there. All right, what I want you to do is continue to tap. Don't worry about saying anything here. Okay, so I can see it. Okay, so just continue to tap and just reflect on the situation. Don't worry about saying anything out loud. Just listen to the words and simply tap along and reflect. I want you to focus on what is causing you the most anxiety or worry about this person and the situation, and just notice how it feels in your body. Okay, let's tap under the nose now. And without judgment, I just want you to notice the energy that you're bringing to the situation. Do you have faith in them? Or do you feel worried or anxious or another emotion? There's room for many emotions, and they're all okay. Okay, go to the chin now. You can go this way, or you can go this way. Have you been trying to fix or maybe control the situation? Just notice the stress in your body as you think about all you've done to maybe try to fix or control the situation. And it's not because you want to be controlling over them. It's because you want to help them. You want to fix their situation. You want to take away their pain. Just notice what comes up for you. Switch to the collarbone now. Just continue to be present with the thoughts and feelings that arise, reminding yourself that whatever you're feeling is okay. It may not feel good, but whatever you're feeling is perfectly normal and natural. Natural response to watching a loved one suffer, watching them hurt, maybe watching them not take care of themselves, maybe watching them continue to practice a bad habit over and over. And you think to yourself, gosh, if they would just listen to me, if they would just do A, B, and C, maybe they wouldn't be in this position. Okay, let's go to the side of the ribs. Just begin to recognize and then release that tension in your body. And just think about this person and the situation as you continue to breathe and tap. And you feel more and more relaxed in your body. Doing this tapping is also helpful as we process difficult emotions, sending a calming message. Tapping sends a calming message to the amygdala, the part of the brain that goes into fight or flight. It's just sending a calming message to the brain that it's okay. We're safe, and it's okay to process these emotions. All right, let's go to the top of the head. Now imagine what it would feel like to have complete faith in this person and this situation. To have complete faith that maybe one day they'll get it, or that they'll be okay, or that they'll figure it out, or that they can take care of themselves. And you can continue to love this person and have faith in them and their situation. And that maybe they just need more time to figure things out. All right, let's go back to the eyebrow point now. Can you remember a time long ago when you struggled? Can you remember how much you grew from that experience, that painful experience? That maybe people tried to tell you what you needed to do, but you weren't ready to hear it, or you weren't ready to make those changes? Can you remember a time? And how did you come through to the other end? All right, let's go to the side of the eye now. Now think about this person and their situation as you continue to tap. Now I want you to repeat after me if you can. Actually, let's go to the cheekbone. I infuse this situation with love. I let go of the need to control. I infuse the situation with hope. Let's go under the nose now. I have faith that there is a greater good behind this situation. I infuse the situation with peace. Okay, in the chin. I believe in their ability to find a way through this difficult time. as I see their gifts and their power, and I encourage them to do the same. Let's go to the collarbone point. And I just send them love. I send them light. I send them peace. I send them encouragement. As I feel these positive feelings grow inside of me, and I spread them to those that I love. Okay, let's go to the side of the ribs. I don't need to know all of the answers now. I choose, or I am open to have faith that from this situation, good will come. All right, take a deep breath in, rub hands together, and let it out. And end with hand over collarbone or your heart. Sometimes I just feel like rocking back and forth. That's just what my body wants to do. So I'm just going to let my body do that. Just let your body do whatever it feels like doing in this moment. You may feel like putting your hands on your belly. You may feel like putting hands on your legs. Whatever you feel like doing, just let your body do it. As we regroup, and actually let's re-rate our level of anxiety from the beginning. What was your number before we started the tap? Did it come down at all? Did it stay the same? Did it go up? If it went up, that's okay. And simply repeat this tap or anything that may be soothing to you. You can just sit there and just allow your body to just do whatever it feels like it needs to do somatically. Somatic means body. Sometimes I like to just kind of cross over like a self-hug and just rub down the sides of my arms. That's very soothing. Gives me instant little goosebumps. And sometimes I like to do that after a tap. Go down like this and across the arms, and then rub the hands. Just do that a couple of times as you think about your number. What was it when we started, and what was it afterwards? I know this might have brought up some, emotions, but that is the point of this exercise, right? Is to have a safe space to deal and process with these emotions. But at the same time, you're doing these soothing actions by tapping gently on the acupressure points, right? Or doing whatever. If this is something soothing to you, or rocking back and forth, or even rubbing hair behind your ears, or playing with your ears, tugging on your ears, that's a very soothing action for a lot of people. Attached to the vagus nerve, which our vagus nerve is our largest cranial nerve in the brain that attaches the brain to the body. Vagus nerve is in charge of calming down the fight or flight response. So maybe, any stimulation of any points of the body along the vagus nerve. If you look at a picture of the vagus nerve on Google, if you Google it, you'll see that it starts here in the back of the skull, kind of where the occipital region, and then it comes down through the throat, goes down through the heart, goes down to the lungs, down to the stomach, and then down to the pelvic region. So any stimulation of that, you could just stimulate the sides of the face, And by doing that, I actually am salivating more. And so that's another sign that's showing that my nervous system is kicking in. My vagus nerve is doing what it's supposed to do, downshifting my nervous system, bringing down that fight or flight response. All right. So let's regroup and get ready for the second tapping script, which is improving communication in a relationship. I'm going to take a sip of my hot beverage. Now would be a good time for you to hydrate if you have something to drink there, preferably something like water or tea, preferably not alcohol or coffee unless you're watching this in the morning. Okay, so let's do the second script, which is improving communication in a relationship. So I want you to think about a relationship that you have. And again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. It can be a friendship. It can be a family. It can be a coworker. It can be a child. And just think about a conversation that you need to have with someone that you care about. A difficult conversation. Maybe you are in a relationship with someone, again, it doesn't have to be romantic, any type of relationship, and you don't communicate so well with this person, but you need to work on your communication skills with this person. Or maybe you need to have a difficult conversation. Maybe there's a conversation that you really need to have, but you've been dreading it. Your nervous system just goes into fight or flight every time you think about having this conversation with this person. But you know that for your own sake, it's probably best that you have this difficult conversation. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in person. It could be an email. You could write them a letter. You could write them an email. You could send them a text. You could leave them a voicemail. Whatever is best for you. You could say, hey, let's go grab a cup of coffee. So I want you to think of such a person where you either need to have a difficult conversation with them, or you would like to just in general work on improving your communication with them. And that's what this next tapping script is going to be about. So let's start by taking a deep breath in, rubbing hands together, and let it out. And you're going to rate your level of anxiety when you think about having this conversation with this person, or you think about communication in general with this person. Give it a number. 0 is I have no anxiety about it at all. 10 is the worst anxiety I could imagine about having this conversation. Okay, and let's start tapping on the side of the hand. Repeat after me if you are able. Even though I am really uncomfortable being open and honest with this person, I am learning to love myself and accept how I feel. And if that part about loving yourself feels uncomfortable, then change it. Change it to something that feels better, something you resonate with. How about I'm learning to accept how I feel? Or I'm learning to acknowledge my feelings. Okay, even though being more open in my communication feels way too risky, I am learning to accept how I feel. And again, you can switch hands if you need to. If your hand doesn't feel comfortable, you need to switch hands, or you can just, rub that area, or you can just touch that area. Even though being more open in my communication with this person feels way too risky, I accept how I feel. Even though Having this conversation feels like a really bad idea. And sometimes it doesn't feel safe. I am learning to accept myself and all of my feelings. All right, let's go to the eyebrow. I just cannot open up to this person. It doesn't feel safe. I don't know how they'll react. I don't think I can be more open and honest with this person. Switch to the side of the eye. I might get hurt. Or I might hurt them. What if I hurt their feelings? What if they abandon me? It's just not a good idea. Okay, top of the cheek. It just doesn't feel safe to be more open with this person. I am not sure that I can do it. Go to the chin now, or the underneath the nose. What if someone gets hurt? What if I get hurt? It's so hard to trust this person with my feelings. But if I don't open up, things might never change. A relationship might never improve. Okay, so the chin now. And this relationship is so important to me. I want this relationship to improve. Okay, collarbone. And that might mean that I need to open up about my feelings. That might mean that I need to be willing to communicate. That might mean taking some risks. Okay, side of the ribs. It might not feel safe. And that's okay. I acknowledge the parts of me that don't feel safe. Okay, top of the head. What if I could just get started? I don't have to do it all at once. I can start by being a little more open with this person. Little by little, I can share more about how I am feeling. Okay, let's go back to the eyebrow again. And maybe that is still scary, but that's okay. Because it feels better to try improving our communication than to keep putting it off. Than for things to remain the way that they are, and for me to continue feel stuck and uncomfortable. Side of the eye. I am open to making this change. And I am open to taking that next step in having this communication. And I want you to just think about, continue to tap, but just think about, what does that next step look like for you? Let's tap underneath the eye. What does that next step in communication with your loved one look like? Does it look like sending them a text and saying, hey, I've had something on my mind, was hoping we could talk about it? Or an email? Does it sound like, hey, I would love to grab a cup of coffee and just chat about some things? Does that look like picking up the phone? Put it underneath the nose. Does that look like picking up the phone, calling them? Or does it look like scheduling, seeing if they can schedule a time to meet with you in person? Or maybe that looks like writing down what you want to say to them and just brainstorming first. Maybe rehearsing with a friend or a trusted person, a therapist, a coach. For the chin now. Maybe it looks like writing it all out, like what you would want to say to the person, and reviewing it with a trusted confidant and sitting on it. Maybe that's what it looks like. What would be most comfortable to you to approach the situation? Let's go to the collarbone. Whatever comes to your mind first is probably what is the most comfortable for you. Whatever is that next step. And remember, you don't have to do it all at once. You can do little baby steps. You can share small bits of information, little at a time. And just picture that in your mind. Picture yourself making that next step, whatever it is. And you can always change your mind if it doesn't feel right. Just picture yourself just taking a step forward. Take a deep breath in. Now, hands together. Deep breath in. And let it out. Think about that number. Think about re-rating your level of anxiety now after doing that tap. Did your level of anxiety come down at all? If you want, you can end by putting your hands on your collarbone or your heart area, doing whatever somatically your body feels like doing, whether it feels like rocking, whether it feels like just gently rubbing your arms. And just think, did that number come down at all? Mine did. I'll share a little bit about what I was thinking about. I have been wanting to have a conversation with a loved one, a family member, for a long time. And I have hesitated to have this conversation with this person for a long time. It's never the right time. It's always, well, there's something coming up. There's a holiday, there's a family holiday coming up, a gathering coming up. Or this, Mother's Day, Father's Day, or birthdays, or Christmas, or whatever it is coming up. And I don't want to upset her before this holiday. Because then we'll have to, be together and it'll be awkward. And so I always chicken out. But I know that if I don't, at some point, it's never really going to be a good time. It's never a good time to deal with our feelings, right? to have uncomfortable conversations. It's never a good time, but we can at least try to figure out a time that is going to work for us to the best of our ability and take that next step. So this exercise was much needed for me. I hope it was helpful for you. I would love to hear in the comments, if you're live or if you're watching the replay, what this brought up for you. Was this helpful for you in thinking about taking a next step and having an uncomfortable conversation with a loved one? And of course, I would love to hear, any reports in the replay. Like, how did that turn out? Did you take that next step? Even though maybe you didn't have the full-blown conversation, but maybe you just made a step forward in initiating conversation with the person. Or maybe you just shared a little bit. Maybe you didn't unload everything, but maybe you just shared just a little tidbit with the person about how you've been feeling, or a boundary or something. Maybe you shared a little bit with them. How did that go? So that was the two examples, the two demonstrations for how we can use tapping to support healthy relationships. If you would like to know further how you can use tapping to help relationships, there is an amazing app that you can download called the Tapping Solution. And I will put a link in the notes that will get you 50% off of an annual premium membership. It's an amazing app. I love this app. Tapping can be used for so many things, as some of you may have noticed, because I'm doing this series to give examples of what all tapping can be used for. It can be used for relationships. It can be used for health and wellness. It can be used for emotions, to process thoughts and feelings. It can be used for unhealthy habits. It can be used to get rid of limiting beliefs, which we haven't gotten to yet. Stay tuned for next week. Next week, we will talk about how we can use tapping to crush limiting beliefs like procrastination and that critical voice, self-sabotage, all those things that hold us back. That's what we'll be talking about next week. So be sure to join us. Next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Every Wednesday we do one of these live streams, and we'll continue the series on tapping. So check out the Tapping Solution app. You can check it out for free and just kind of see what it's about. And then if you want to access the premium content, you definitely will get access to more things when you do the premium content. You can use the link in the notes to get 50% off. And just to give you an idea of how you can use the Tapping Solution app in relationships, I'm just going to read you. I know you can't quite see, but this is what it looks like. So you have all of these categories that you can use tapping. And all you do is press play and plug and play, just like this video was. You press play, follow along with the script. Just to give examples, on the relationship section, there's taps on breakup support. There's taps on dating support. There's taps on intimate relationship support, single support. There are multiple tapping scripts that can help you through different elements of relationships. So I hope you will check that out. And I hope you will join us next week where we tackle how to use tapping to overcome procrastination, how to overcome that critical voice that we all have in our mind of, you can't do that. You're never gonna be good at that. You're never going to ... whatever it is. That's what we're going to be doing next week. And I would love it if you would help support my channel. One of the platforms that we do these online gathering place episodes is my YouTube channel called Holistic Healing Network. I would love it if you would subscribe. I am almost up to 200 subscribers, and you can turn on your notifications and you'll get notified whenever I go live. You can also tune in on Facebook and Instagram, which all that information will be in the notes underneath this video if you are watching the replay. You can also, if you would like to get notified about what topics I'll be doing ahead of time, you can get on my email list. And the easiest way to do that is to check out the link I've just put on the screen. It'll also be, actually, no, it's not going to be in the notes, but it's right there on the screen. So it's leahpetrucci.com. If you just go that far, then you'll find it. But you can also go further and do the /red flags -checklist, and you'll get a freebie. You'll get a relationship red flags checklist that will help you to be able to spot toxic people in relationships. It'll also put you on my email list. So check out that freebie. And if you are interested in working with me one-on-one, I am a licensed mental health counselor in the state of Florida. I am also a holistic health and lifestyle coach. No matter where you live, it does not matter. I can help you with multiple things. I would love it if you would reach out. You can find me either by going on my website, leahpetrucci.com, checking out all the different areas of specialization that I have. And from there, you can schedule your 30-minute consultation. I would love to speak with you further and see how I might be able to support you, whether it's through mental health counseling or whether it's through health and lifestyle coaching. And as always, I hope you have a great evening. And remember, self-care isn't selfish, it's essential. Have a great night, everybody. See you next time.